Hello, SQL lovers. Welcome to today's section. Today, we're diving into some SQL commands that will empower you to manage and modify data directly within a database. These commands are part of the data manipulation language and data definition language, allowing you to insert, update, delete, and even remove tables entirely. In this lesson, we're going to cover insert into, update, delete, truncate, and drop. These commands are the backbone of everyday data management, giving you the tools to control data flow within your databases. So the insert into keyword, okay, this allows you to add new rows of data into a table. Then the update keyword allows you to modify existing data in a table. Then the delete keywords removes row from a date table. Then truncate, removing all rows from a table. Then drop, permanently deletes a table from a database. So let's dive in understanding these keywords, right? So the first one is insert into, right? So because I don't want to mess with the previous table I already created, because at the end of the lesson, we're going to drop the table. So it's better for us to create a new one, all right? So this new one we're going to create will enable us to understand this perfectly, okay? So let's create the table and give it employee, okay? So because this is not a lesson for us to learn how to create tables. So I'll just quickly move over it so that we'll move on to the next thing, okay? First name. So we're going to create our first table, first name. We're going to give it Vaka and we want it to be like 200. Then we do the second table. We want it to be last name. And we want it to be Vaka 2. We'll give it 200. Then our third table should be what again? Okay, let's say phone number. Phone number. So we'll give it Vaka 2. Should be 200. 200. Then the last one should be our email, okay? Email. So we'll give it 200 too. 200 too. We'll close our table. So for this to be easily readable, let's do it this way. Okay. So these are the tables we want to create, okay? So we're going to run this to create our table. Must include, oh, sorry, I didn't add data type because you have to tell SQL the type of data you want it to be registered into the table. So this is VACA, all right? So we're going supposed to, because every table has a primary key, all right? So this now, I want SQL to generate that for us. So I'll put employee ID. So I want it to be generated by SQL. So we have employee ID. Int is going to be integer, then primary key. I'll tell SQL this is our primary key. And also identity, right? So we want it to start with 1000 and increase by 1. Okay. So this will tell SQL that this is identity key. So you already know that it's not supposed to be, that it's going to be unique. All right. So we don't have to manually create our primary key. So when we execute this, so you see our table has been created. So when we now select. So let's select from our database. Sorry. What am I doing? Okay. So let's select from our database and see the database we've created, okay? From the database is employee. So it has already sorry, not the database, the table we created. So our table has already been created. So we can check it. So when you check, you see this is the table I just created. So the table is empty, right? So we have to insert into the table. So this is where our first lesson of today comes in. Insert into. So I already have a table. I want to impute data into the table. So for you to impute data into this table, that's where this insert into keywords come in. So I want to insert. Which table do you want to insert into? I want to insert into my employee table. So what do you want to insert into? So this is time for us to what we want to input. So we want to input first name. So you just mentioned the column name, all right? First name, last name, phone number, email. So these are columns, okay? So then what we want to insert into this table, the values. So this is where the values comes in. So what value do you want to impute? So let's say the first name. Sorry, let's use small letters. Trauma. So please always put in quotes, okay? So I want the first name to be Trauma, then the last name, sorry, is okay. Then the third name, the phone number, what? Want the phone number. Then we also want the email. So we don't have to include the employee ID because SQL already understood that we already set that to be our primary key and also identity key. So it's going to automatically generate it for us. So let's execute this. So you see, this has been added to our table. So when we check our table now, so you see, so SQL already generated the employee ID for us. So you see, so this is already our table. So this is where insert statement comes to play. Okay, so you can also insert into this table from another table. All right. So for instance, so we have our customer table because they're having this slide information. So I'm going to insert into this table from my customers table. Okay. So for me to insert into this table, I'm also going to use the same insert into employee. So they must be of the same data type, all right, for you to be able to insert, okay? So I want to insert into employee, okay, from. So this is much easier. From my customers table, all right? So if I do this now, this will insert all the customers, all the columns from all the rows from customers table. I don't want that, okay? So I'll also have to write what I want it to insert, okay? So I want it to insert. So you're going to tell SQL, if not, you not even know what to do. And because if I run it like that, because my customer table has other columns, it's going to give us error, okay? So we have to specifically tell him, this is what we want you to get from the customer's table. We want the first name, because for you to be able to insert, it must have the same columns, all right? The same number of columns for you to be able to insert it from another table. So you have to mention it, the columns you want, okay? So last name, and they must have the same data type for this to work. Email. So these are what I want it to select from my customers table and put into this my employee table. But I also just want, let's do like 20 because the customers table is more than 100. So I just want for it to insert, let's do top. Remember the top keyword we learned the other day? So top 20, this. So once I run this now, it's going to insert into my employee table. So you see 20 rows are affected because I mentioned I just want the 20. All right. So if we do select now from this employee table, you're going to see all this. Okay. So you see, so SQL is going to my customers table and check the information there and then insert it here. So I've just created an employee table like this, okay? So I didn't add email, okay? So instead of me to add my email, I just wrote email here and it still recognizes it. So you just write the exact value you want into there, right? So this is just it. This is how to create a table, insert value into the table you created, and how to also insert value from a table into table. So you can also do this, okay? So that's all for our insert statement. So we've already created our table, cost employee table, and we've seen it. Okay, so that's how to create a table and insert value. So that's for insert statement. So we're going to look at the update. Okay, so this is perfect. So the updates, we already created this table now. So this mistake I made here, I want to update it. All right. So for me to update this now, I have to use the update keyword. Okay. So let's see. Update, update. So which table do you want to update? You have to mention the table. Update table. Employee. So the table I want to update is employee table, okay? Sorry. The table I want to update is employee table. So what do you want to update? Sets. So you use set to state what you want to update or the column you want to update. So I want to update the email column, okay? Email. And I want my email to be at gmail.com. Remember your code. So you can actually update many things at the same time. Okay, so let's do this. We also work with other examples. So this statement, where statement is very, very important. Without it, SQL might not know what you want it to do. So you have to set what you want. So what I want now, I want it to go to where employee ID, where employee ID is equal to, so my employee ID, you can even say first name, but if your other first name, that will crash. You can use phone number. So I'm using employee ID because that's the unique information. It's only me that, it's only this row that has this employee ID. So that's the best column to update with. So go to the employee table where the employee ID is 1000 and change the column email, set it to this. Okay. So let's see. So one row affected. So if we check our table now, we're going to see that this has been changed and my email has been updated correctly. So you see, so this has been updated. So this is update statement. So you can also update many things at the same time. So I want this to be updated. Then I want also to change this phone number so that I can look like this ones. So I'll also say phone number, set phone number to equal to. So I want you to send this phone number to, let's see, these ones are having 555, then 156. So let's just write this. So what it means, so I've already updated this one. So because I've already used email before, it's already updated. It's not going to change again. So let's do first name. So go to employee table, then go to the column, first name, change the first name there, whatever you're seeing there as the first name, change it to Christiana. Okay. So this is what it's going to do. Then the phone number, also change it to this. Where employee, this condition is very important because you have to state so that you know what is changing. All right. So if I change this to another employee ID, that's where it's going to change. So, but we're working with the first, sorry, we're working with the first row. So let's see. One row affected. So this has been updated. So if we check our table now, employee table, let's see what we're going to have. So you see, it has changed my first name to Christiana. So look at the phone number. It has also changed the phone number from what it used to be to something like this too. So you see, you can update your table anytime. All right. So that's how to use update. So you can put many conditions. If I want to change everything in that row for Christiana, I will do that. Okay. Just remember to use the where condition. All right. So this where clause will help SQL to know what is changing. Okay. So that's for the update statement. We use it to modify existing data. Okay. So then we're going to look at the delete. So this delete remove rows from a table. So this will only remove row because we are using the delete statement. So if, for instance, so that first column that we added, right? That's the first column that is having Christiana. So this, I don't want it anymore. I want to remove this, okay? So this person is no longer on our payroll. We're going to remove it. So for you to remove it, that's where the delete statement comes in. Delete table, employee. So what do I want to delete? Where employee ID is equals to 1000. So I want to delete this. I want to delete from employee table where employee ID is equals to 1000. All right. So it's going to delete our first row, just our first row. You see, one row affected. So let's check our table again, the employee table. So when we check our employee table now, so you see that first row is no longer here. All right. So it deleted everything, both the employee ID, it deleted everything. So it's no longer in our table, right? So the where condition is very, very important. You have to include it to tell SQL, this is the one I want to delete specifically, all right? So that's how to delete from a table. So, for you to delete is row. You want to delete everything in that row, right? So once you mention it, it's going to delete that row for you. So that's for the delete. Then we're going to look at truncate. Okay, so this truncate, removing all rows from a table. So this truncate now is going to remove everything we've inserted into this table, but this table will still be there, right? So it means the table will still exist in the database, right? So it's going to remove all these values we inserted, but the table remains. That's when you are to use truncate, okay? You want to remove every value. Maybe you want to start from the beginning again. So you use the truncate statement. Okay. So I want to truncate employee table. Some of these keywords, some need you to add table, and some don't need table. So let's see. Truncate. Truncate employees. Truncate table employee. Let's see if this works with table. Okay. Truncate employee. Hold on, please. Truncate. Please hold on. Let's see what Okay, sorry, I didn't spell the table very well before. That was it. So for you to be able to remove all the record, all the value from a table, you use truncate statement, okay? So once we run this statement, what it means is that our table will be empty, all right? So let's look at our table once again. So these are the values we're having in our table. So once I run this statement, all this will disappear. So truncate table employee. Commands completed successfully. So this is command. I've given SQL command to truncate my table. So when I check my table now, you see, my table is still there, but the values I inserted into the table is no longer there. So then we can insert the value again, and then we do the drop table. Okay, so this is what truncate does. So let's run this query again. Let's do this and see. Okay. So we've already inserted again. So I use this from my customers table to insert value into the employee table. So if we run it again, we're going to see our value. So you see what truncate does? It just remove the values, but the table still is still there. So it did not remove the table, because if you remove the table, I will not be able to insert into the table without creating a table, right? So that's for truncate. Then drop. So this statement, okay, once you do use this statement, the table will be gone. It means that you have to start from the beginning if you need that table again, right? So let's see how it works. So drop table employee. You have to state the table you want to drop. You will not just write the statement without mentioning the table, so that SQL, because we have other tables, so that SQL we know the exact table we're talking about. So you see, commands completed. So this command we gave to SQL, he has already executed it. So we no longer have any table that is called employee table, right? So when I check this now, you see, this error I'm getting is because there's no table called employee again, invalid object name. So there's no table here, because we've already truncated. Sorry, we've already dropped the table. So the difference between truncate and drop, truncate will only remove the values and it will leave your table. When you search, you will still see your table, but there's no value in it. But drop will drop the table. When you search, you will no longer see that table again. All right. So you see how how we can use all these keywords to manipulate the database. All right. So that's all for today. So that will be, I'll be sending the exercises for this lesson later in the day. So do enjoy the rest of your day, and please practice and go through all these steps, all right? All these sections, okay? Go through this previous one so that you understand everything that I've worked on, okay? Thank you for watching. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.